Checking the mic. Bum, bum, ba-ba-da bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-ba-da bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Reno Nonsense Podcast. It's me, your host, Lionel Begay here. And also with none other than Elgin Alway. And, of course, Paul the Doc Spock.
The Doc, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
I saw the Back to the Future.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Great Scots.
So, we usually put in a theme in here, but the program doesn't recognize it, so I have to like put it in post-production. But like when we do like the background and stuff, it'll probably be like the Death Star or something like that.
Nice.
Something along those lines, and it will like slowly float across. Maybe at the end, we'll put it at the end.
Like have it explode at the end.
Yeah,
Stay
at the very,
tuned
very
for
end.
more explosions.
So anyways, we'll insert the theme here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reno Nonsense Podcast. Ladies, drop your panties.
Okay, welcome to the Reno Nonsense Podcast. Welcome both Paul and Elgin.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, how you guys been?
Good. How about you?
I've been all right. Haven't really been doing much. Mostly been doing all the podcasts and stuff. And I see that you got like a brace, Elgin.
Killer awesome boot right there, man.
So like he's walking around with like a boot, and his toe is totally bruised. Is that a bruise or is that like a mark?
I guess these are two stories here. I'll address the green on the toenail. One of the things that I do for fun is cosplay, and I was cosplaying as the Riddler. I thought, I should have green fingernail polish, and I want to make sure it was like the right tone. Mm-hmm. So I put it on my toe, and I was like, yeah, that looks about right. And then I thought, I wonder how long it'll take to grow out. And so there it is. And I just so happened to have twisted my ankle a few weeks ago on a camping trip with local comedian Ethan Pickett. Ethan's very adventurous, we'll say. Hey man, let's go over here where you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, Ethan, he's like that. He's like I see him all the time at like raves all the time. I always see him. He has like a tie-dye scarf on. I always see him in the crowd, and he's like, hey, because he's like, hey, he's like into that the what do you call it? Yes, yeah, that's what the.
I'm not saying this is or is not true, but when we went on that camping trip, I pointed out like, Ethan, those we seem to have quite a lot of Schedule 1s with us. May or may not have been true. And then I'll tell you what, I ended up cracking the ankle like early on in the camping trip. Mm-hmm. This was not the trip I was looking forward to. So that was like a little joke because you had all these psychedelics.
Oh, I see.
Get it, trip.
Yeah.
I wish your green toenail was like a better story. Like you fell asleep at like a sorority party, and the girls painting your toes up. That would have been a way cooler story, Elgin.
It would have been. I just decided to go with the truth.
Go with the truth, yeah.
Remember, when the legend is better than the truth, print the legend.
Yeah, they always do that. They always like if there wasn't any fact checks like on Rocky, if they could pass that off like a documentary, say like 100 years from now, if there was a giant like explosion and the only thing that was left was like an old DVD of Rocky, and then they open it and put it in, and they don't know what it is, but when they watch it, they're like, oh, okay, he must have been like a god or something. Say like if like a fallout happened, and if they like the only thing that survived was like a DVD player, and then the movie Avengers. And then they didn't really know anything about technology, but they put it in. They'll be like, "Whoa, that's like all that's left." But I
wonder if that's what like the pyramids are. Like we think it's like this great deep thing. Oh, it was their religion. They were communicating with aliens. They were using Tesla technology, and then they come and find out like, "Oh no, this is what we do with our celebrities. This is Hollywood."
Well, I've been kind of joking with this with friends, anyways. Is like. All of our information is now stored on phones and on hard drives and everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, if the whole world came to an end, like, and all that stuff disappeared, like 100,000 years from now, the only thing that's going to be left of our of future generations is just going to be bones and phones.
Yeah,
it's going to be just people frozen over with a phone in their hand, and there's going to be like no like proof of us alive. Like, there's going to be no books. like they're gonna think Harry Potter was the last thing we ever read, and like he was a god. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna think we have a god named Harry.
Yeah, like when you watch that movie Terminator 2, and then when it's like the war, when you see all the mountains of skulls, and then you see that robot slowly come out. There's that scene when it's the girl that's like, or it's like a skeleton, but it's like leaning over the steering wheel, and then you see the car, but like that, but just like an iPhone, just like right in the hand. Like I always think that's kind of strange that how much, like how you said, like we're so involved with the technology and everything exists up in the cloud. Like where does it go? But like everything that we have now, like I still collect like records from now and then just to keep like a
physical media.
Yeah. Because
it's kind of nice to have a physical media. I figure that's I don't know.
I have a hard drive with like 1 million songs on it. Mm-hmm. I can go to a pawn shop and they'll only give me money for the hard drive. If you have all that in CDs, you go to the pawn shop and get money for all those CDs. So that's the whole terrible thing about this whole media thing. Or,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So like
have any physical copies.
If like a new artist comes out, like Kendrick Lamar, whoever, like I'll buy the vinyl. That way I could still at least have some sort of physical thing rather than buy just the MP3, or like if I could get like the new Gorillaz album or something like that.
On vinyl.
I'll try to do my best to get it on vinyl.
That's cool. You actually have a record player over there.
Yeah, I got like I think I got Eric B, Rakim, Don't Sweat the Technique. I got like Wu-Tang Clan over there sitting there somewhere in there. But the only one I really can't get is like Life After Death by Notorious B.I.G. Like if you look on the internet, it's like $400 for it.
For just vinyl?
Yeah, just to get it on
That's
vinyl.
it? No.
I know. But like Tupac's really easy to find, but I could never ever find Notorious B.I.G. So, wait, when were you guys born? Like what era? Were you guys into like wrestling or anything like that?
I was.
This is your wrestling fan.
Oh, okay. All right, this is going to get good. Because like we had Drake Nelson on here and we were talking about like the Iron Sheik and we were talking about what our favorite matches were. And then I one of my favorite matches was when Jushin Thunder Liger, when he wrestled Rey Mysterio Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's classic. That's a very underrated match. I always think of.
You know, one of my favorite matches I remember from like being like when I was a really little kid was Hulk Hogan versus Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, in a steel cage. That was on Saturday Night Live's main event.
Dang.
And at the very end, they both jump out of the cage and let both their feet land at the same time. So that it was like a big controversy, like who won. And like I liked Hogan, but he wasn't my favorite, and I always got tired of how he just bowled over everybody.
Yeah.
So for him to have like a close match was like rare. You're like, whoa,
yeah,
that was close.
And then when he wrestled Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, when he wrestled Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, like that's the first time I ever recall anyone like beating Hulk Hogan fair and square, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, in the middle of the ring,
clean.
Yeah,
he was like one of the few guys, and then like he fell off after that.
Yeah, Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, like
most
right after that.
Well, Hogan did the whole went to WCW not too far after that, and he had to leave WWE because of the whole steroid scandals.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
They were worried about steroids in fake sports.
Well, at that time, they were actually not considered. It was actually, they had to be, especially in New York State, had a athletic commission. They were actually sanctioned by the athletic commission. So they actually had rules for steroids and everything else. And it's not completely fake. You can't fake gravity.
I don't want to sound like this is not my nerddom, but I'm not here to bash it either. I see it more like there's a lot of drama and choreography going on, and for what it is a piece of entertainment. But I don't see it like I would like the NFL. Like there's a bit of a separation there.
Yeah, no. Well, actually, these days in the NFL is probably just as predetermined as wrestling.
Yeah. Especially because I really don't watch it today, but like I think like the way back then when I was at home, we never had cable. The only thing we had was like VHS tapes, and then when we had VHS tapes, all I did was just watch like wrestling and stuff.
Yeah,
that was like all I did. I'm gonna turn on the AC. It's hot in here. Hang on. Go ahead and talk about something. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, what do you know about wrestling?
Hey man, I'm just the voice of the non-wrestling fan who's listening, who's like, oh man, non-wrestling.
Yeah.
So
what did you watch as a kid? Like wrestling was like a big part of my childhood, like, and clearly Lionel's as well.
Yeah.
What did you watch, you big
man.
doofus?
and one of my biggest, hands down, and I think a lot of kids in our era was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That just ruled everything.
They just ruled everything, huh?
I got older. Animated series and X-Men on Fox were amazing.
What about
Oh, yeah.
when you were like really young, like
Really young.
5, 6?
Oh man, Thundercats, He-Man, Gilligan's Island, which was a big deal for me when I got to meet Donna Wells, who played Mary Ann. So like there's like the 5, 6-year-old little Elgin inside of me. I was like, oh my god, I get to meet Mary Ann. So
Yeah, I remember growing up watching Ninja Turtles was a big thing, and then watching the still to this day the movie. To me, it's still hilarious. The original, old school 1990 when they fight on top of when they fight Shredder.
Oh, the first
Yes.
feature film. Yeah, actually, it's a really good film. I mean, I have maybe 1 or 2 complaints about it, and the same complaints I had when I was in 4th grade watching it. They made Raphael swear. I was like, I get he's supposed to be a tough guy, but I was a kid. I was like, I didn't need this in a movie. But it has a really nice, dark heaviness to it.
It does.
There's a great emotion to it. When Leonardo is waiting next to Raphael for days and just taking care of him.
When he goes in the tub,
nice,
when he gets jumped on the
yeah.
yeah.
Like, that's a really nice emotional scene, and we lose that, I think, in like the Michael Bay versions of
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles. So.
I think one of the problems is that it's kind of hard to be a turtle and like hide when everyone else has like an iPhone and a camera. Like, it's like you could be unseen for so long until someone like
You have a
records it.
really good
That's
ninja.
the whole dated thing of a lot of things now. Is like everyone has a camera. You can't do a movie with
ninjas.
and it's there's a ninja right there.
Yeah, I love the beginning when the movie opens up and then they have that song bum bum ba-dum, and then like it's just a guy pickpocketing a wallet and they go dun 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 dun, and then because it makes sense that could happen, but like before the internet, like when I was a kid, I always wanted to be like a ninja. And like now they have things like UFC and all this kind of stuff, like the jiu-jitsu, and then you see what exactly works. Because like sometimes I'll go on YouTube and I'll look like a guy that has a background in ninjutsu, and then you just see him get taken to the ground and just destroyed, and it kind of like really ruins the whole.
Ninjutsu is a
fantasy.
whole art of surprise. So like it's hard to surprise someone when they're expecting to fight you.
Cage with, with nothing to hide behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Wear like a suit with little lines across it so you camouflage with the cage?
Just like, it's white and you just lay on the floor. Oh, the guy's not here. Then you just reach up and grab the dude. I got you. Ninja powers.
But like those movies, they always like hold like a inside. Because I always like showing my daughter those kind of movies. Those old.
Did you watch like American Ninja?
Yeah, I watched American Ninja. I watched American Ninja. Watched a bunch of like old school ninja movies and stuff.
How was that for you as a dad? Going back to what you said, like sharing it with your daughter. That's got to be kind of.
It's cool to watch her reaction when she watches like Jurassic Park. And then when that scene when the T-Rex goes right inside the Jeep and then tries to eat the kids, she's like, how did they get the dinosaur to look so real? I was like, oh, they actually made the animatronic dinosaur. And then I always like watching
so
that.
much great suspense. It's
Yeah.
a really well-directed scene, except for the fact that there's a giant hole next to their car that was never there before. The same spot where the T-Rex walked out of. When did this hole get here? But besides that, there's great the directing that scene in the beginning. We kind of know where the characters are at in relation to one another. There's a little bit of a jump scare when the lamb gets dropped in the SUV. There's Spielberg. I mean, he started out, as a lot of directors do, doing horror. And if you look at that scene, that's a horror scene. There's suspense, there's jumps, there's times when a lot of what the camera is seeing is at the angle of those who are being attacked, the people, so that we're right in the midst of that scariness. That's cool. She get to see it and then ask like, how they do that? Well, they made a real dinosaur, like out of like robot parts and stuff.
It's amazing because like me and her, it's like sometimes I'll go on YouTube and we'll try to watch all 5 Rockies within an hour. I'll just take like the highlights and try to explain to her, because like getting her to watch like
5 Rockies.
Yeah.
So 6 plus Creed, right?
Yeah, so like 5, not the 5th one, but we recently did watch Creed.
Oh,
Yeah. Did you guys see it?
Yeah, I've seen Creed.
Yeah, Creed was
one yet.
dope. Creed was really, really good, and they did a good job on the whole story, and then the way they tie in Sylvester Stallone, because they put him in, but it feels balanced between him and the new character.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, yeah, it feels very balanced the way it was written and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't. You didn't feel like they were forcing Rocky into the story.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a thing. You guys have seen the movie. I haven't yet, but Stallone said this isn't Rocky 7. This is Creed 1. It just takes place in, and it sounds weird to say, the Rocky universe.
Yeah,
Like, this is a Creed movie, but it takes place in here.
yeah.
What do you think about that movie that's come out about the guy that Rocky was based on? Mike Hebner.
Mike Hebner?
So I think it's Chuck Webner. Chuck Webner.
I haven't seen it. What,
You haven't seen it? Yeah, they're making a biopic about Chuck Webner, who was like, he was like, the whole premise of Rocky was based on him, where they had a champ. It was actually Muhammad Ali at the time. You know, flashy
So we
champ.
were talking about this the other day. I'm like, yeah, this white guy was fighting some black dude, and Paul's like, yeah, that some black dude was Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So they had it all set up for Ali to fight some other guy, and the other guy backed out last minute, and they were on a scramble to look for someone.
Oh,
And they found this Chuck Webner guy who's, I think he was, it might have not have been in Philly, it might have been like New Jersey or something. I don't remember the exact place, but same kind of thing. Local boy's going to fight the champ, and he loses, but he puts up a fight. Like,
Yeah.
he gives Ollie a hard time. And then in real life, never gets a rematch.
oh really?
Yeah.
So okay. So he just this underdog probably goes the distance with him. I don't know if that's what happens.
I don't remember if he goes the distance, but he puts up a fight. Like, he hurts Ali. Like, he doesn't go down easy. He keeps getting up, and he keeps going forward, and he keeps trying to fight.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
keep
keeps-
moving forward. Yeah,
Yeah, he does his best to not die, basically here.
yeah. Did you guys ever do where you put the raw eggs in the glass and then try to drink it? I used to do that when I was younger.
No, I
I think
never
I
did
did it
that one.
like once in high school.
Yeah.
So
I would always go, psych.
Put it on the pan.
episode where Randy does that, and then he just drops in and makes scrambled eggs.
That's funny.
That's exactly what I would do.
That's hilarious. Because I used to, when I was like around, probably like 23, 24, I used to always, I wanted to do MMA when I was younger. And then when I would train, there was like kids that were still 18, 19, just light years ahead of me. I was like, there's no way I'm going to catch that up. So I might as well just do stand-up and do podcasting.
Yeah,
It's a lot more
safer.
easier. Yeah, and plus you don't have to go to work with like headaches and stuff.
Yeah. Now this was when MMA was just starting to become a thing, a big thing. I was invited to a gym. Gym was the Shark Tank, and one of the guys was training. I was about his weight, and he's like, "Let's spar."
No.
And I'm like, okay. And like, I guess I was a better wrestler than I thought, because I held my own. Like, I held him down. Like, I wasn't gonna let him pummel the hell out of me. And he got mad.
Yeah.
And like, then it was no longer a spar. He punched me full speed.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, oh, you did great. You should join our gym. And I'm like, that dude just punched me in the face really hard.
You don't
Yeah.
punch in wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, it was MMA. I was fighting.
Oh, okay.
But he was a wrestler. He wanted to practice wrestling. So it was supposed to be grappling, but I frustrated him. So he socked me in the face.
Ow.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, you could join our gym. And it was like $300 a month or some
Yeah.
ridiculous amount of money. And I'm like, I don't get paid $300 a month to get beat up. If I want to get beat up every day, I'd go back to high school.
Yeah. That's always the hard part. Is like when you go to a hard sparring session and then knowing that you still have to come back. That's always like the worst, because like different parts of your body starts hurting, like your joints and your shoulder and your neck. It's because people are like pulling on your neck and heave-hoing you all the
Yeah.
time. It's hard to do that and then try to like keep a job, and then I have no idea on how they do it.
I used to, when I was in high school, I had a job at a liquor store, stocking shelves, and I'd play football. And there was some days after games where my arms would be all black and blue.
Yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to do was stock shelves. Like,
yeah, and then you still had to go to school.
yeah. And
And try to stay awake through class and all that stuff. I know a lot of wrestlers, when they were wrestling in high school, they would always fall asleep in class because they're just so dead tired that they have to do their workouts right before they go and come in, and then they have to do, they probably train like 6 times.
Cut weight all the time, too.
Cutting weight, dehydrating yourself just to get on the scale.
Yeah, and you're like, what'd you eat today? Water,
watermelon. That's it. That's really all you can eat.
Ice chips.
Yep. What about you, Elgin? Did you ever do sports in high school?
I did, but kind of like yourself, when you were saying that you looked at these guys who were older and whatnot, I didn't really do sports in junior high or things like that. And so when I got to high school, I'm like, oh, I'm doing some sports. And all of these guys have been doing it for years. And I'm just picking up the basic fundamentals. And I think back then, too, not only did I not really know how to manage my asthma, but I wasn't very confident or as, like, I still stick my foot in my mouth today, but like, I was way worse back then. So like, not being good at sports, not being good at like being able to connect with guys who were playing sports. It's like, oh, I enjoy soccer. I enjoy sitting on the bench on these games. So
yeah, I never really did sports when I was younger. I should have had, but I always lived too far from the school, and we could never ever like. Because I lived from Wadsworth to Fernley, and then it wasn't like everyone had a car and they could just take me every day. But I did basketball my freshman year, went to the tryouts, and then the conditioning was just too much. I was like, no, I'm just going to go home and watch Ninja Turtles. So that was like basically like
That was the end of your NBA career.
Yeah, it was I think this is, I always like looked up to like Michael Jordan and stuff. I was like, oh, Luke Longley, Kukoc, and Ultimate Warrior.
Yep, all these buff guys that you can never.
Iron Sheik and then the
Iron Sheik #1.
Yeah, I was.
You got a lot of wrestlers now that do comedy.
Yeah, Mick Foley.
Foley does comedy. Jake the Snake now does comedy.
Iron Sheik.
Who else? Dolph Ziggler, yeah. I like Iron Sheik. I like when he fought when he had that match with Bob Backlund when he first won the title, I believe. Yeah, when he
with the camel clutch. Yeah, Bob Backlund. Match. Way back in the day. Those days are over now.
Yeah, now all these guys are just young and fast. And
more athletic.
Yeah,
more
way
rounded.
more athletic.
Yeah,
they used to just be big bruising dopes. Now they're these fast little athletic guys.
Did you see? I was on the internet the other day. I looked at Scott Steiner. He had like a giant hole in his pectoral area, and he has a giant tattoo that covers that area. So I was wondering like how he got like that because he's a big buff guy. So
he got something.
Well, what happened was that he was, from what he was saying in an interview, is that he was wrestling in Costa Rica or somewhere like that, and he got kicked in the neck and tore his trachea. Ooh. Yeah, so he went to the hospital, and doctors said that you have like 5 hours to live. So they had to fly him back to the States, and I think when they were trying to repair it, they had to cut like some of the ribs off in order to save him. Ooh. Something along those lines.
That must have been fun.
Yeah.
So now he's Iron Man, has this hole in his chest?
Yeah, he has like a dent.
Yeah, it's like a weird dent. Like,
I'll see if I can find it.
He used to have like nice muscular pectorals, like like he's been working out clearly for all of his life. And now there's like a chunk, like a shark ate him right here.
Weird. Yeah, I'll see if I can find a picture of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like he got boob cancer or something.
Boob cancer.
So what about you, Elgin? You like Star Wars? No, you like Star Wars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do that on some stuff.
What do you like about Star Wars?
I like the Doctor who goes around time and holy crap!
Yeah, he has like a giant hole in his chest.
You see his sternum, man.
Yeah, but like from what I heard, he had like it used to not always be like that, but from what I heard, he got kicked like in the trachea or something like that, and he had to get surgery in order to like repair it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Killed that guy in the ring. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
619.
Yeah.
Guy in the head.
And he brain hemorrhage or something like that, right? Yeah. I remember that. That's scary, dude.
Yeah. And you're like, that 619 move is like, doesn't look like it would, if you did it right, it shouldn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it should be able to sell, but apparently that guy didn't want to sell or something, and it just hit him in the head.
Especially if you have that momentum and you're wearing those wrestling boots, and you try not to make contact with him, but you're trying to make it believable. I mean, sometimes you might just get clipped. And
I'm sure you got clipped. It would hurt, but it wouldn't kill you. That guy must have not wanted to move. Mm-hmm. He was probably trying to make his move look dumb.
Yeah.
That's what some wrestlers do. They just won't sell your move. You hit them, and they'll just, that didn't hurt. And then
that's got to be the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. No, have you ever seen the fight on the internet between Bruiser Brody and Lex Luger? Mm-mm. It was a cage match, and Bruiser Brody was known for being a little out of his mind. And I guess in the middle of the match, Luger might have accidentally hit him too hard, or was a little. Luger wasn't known for being a stiff wrestler; like he was known for being safe. Yeah. And I guess he did something that made Bruiser Brody mad, and Brody just completely stopped selling, wouldn't budge to anything. This guy is known to being crazy. Mm-hmm. You just see Lex Luger just run out of the ring like he was a still cage match. He's
Jesus.
I got to get out of this. Because the referee was like, get out.
Yeah, because Lex Luger, for those of you who don't know who Lex Luger is, he's like a giant superhero-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruiser Brody, looked like a mountain boy, mountaineer, like big buff dude with like big old beard, and would run around growling at people.
Yeah. So, Elgin.
What?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Stuff Elgin
let's talk about
your stuff. So.
No. Let's talk about. This is about you. What do you like about Star Wars?
Oh man.
Star Wars 7.
7.
Yes, the new one.
Oh, okay. Which never actually has 7 in the title, and I was wondering if they were going to wait a few years and then put it on in post like they did with Episode 4. I thought it was probably the best fan film I've ever got to see. Abrams, of course, being a fan of Star Wars. I'll tell you kind of a cool story. I saw Force Awakens with this dude, and we were like, oh, let's go see it. And he came to my place to pick me up. We're going to go together. I was like, Paul, do you mind if I smoke a little weed before we see this movie? He's like, dude, why do you want to be high during Star Wars?
Yeah.
I was like, ever had a cheeseburger? Ever had on weed? Ever see the newest Star Wars on opening night in 3D at an IMAX theater with your best friend? On weed? So I was like, all right, that makes sense. And I was so in the zone when that first scroll hit. I was so excited, and I'm reading it, and there's nothing about trade embargoes and Episode 1 bullshit. So I was so happy for that.
It was really good. Like now that they're making this new one, I hear that they're using a different director though. No.
Yeah, I don't think Abrams is working on the next one, which I thought he did a great job as a fan. I had read, actually, it was funny. I was in your bathroom. This is how big of a nerd I am. I was in this dude's bathroom, and I was like, oh, a Playboy. I haven't seen one of those in years. Oh, our interview with J.J. Abrams? Forget boobs. I got to read this. I'm reading the Star Wars article instead of the Playmates. And in it, I had read that Disney had went to Abrams 3 different times before he finally said yes. And for him, he says, I did Star Trek. I wasn't a fan, but he was very respectful with the material he had and wanted to make sure that he was giving nod to the fans properly. But when it came to Star Wars, he goes, this was my thing. And I think he saw the backlash a lot of fans had on George Lucas for messing up his own stuff. He goes, man, I come in here, and I'm not Lucas, I'm an outsider, but I'm such a fan, I don't want to mess up the universe that I fell in love with. But I actually think that made for a better Star Wars because he was very careful about it.
I like how they filmed that the final fight scene and they have that snowy area in the forest because it wasn't. like there wasn't like too many like flips and all this. It feels like a realistic like sword fight, like into the death. That's what I really
no Darth
enjoy.
Maul flips, which I wasn't against Maul doing his thing. It made him a cooler villain.
Yeah.
I like when they're holding the blue and red lightsaber, they're just pushing up against each other,
and then it
and you
makes
see the
that light.
purple glow every now and then, which I thought was a nice visual allude and touch with dark side versus light side and their colors coming together.
That's cool.
Speaking of Star Wars stuff, what are you doing for May the 4th?
Tomorrow, probably nothing.
How about you, Paul? You got anything going on?
Nah, nothing.
Why do you ask?
Thanks.
What's on your mind, Elgin?
Well, myself and Paul and a handful of other comedians will be having a Star Wars themed comedy night on May the 4th. And it's kind of interesting how it came about. It's at Studio on 4th, for those of you who are here in Reno. The owner of Studio on 4th kept kind of bugging me to, hey man, I got this guy, he's a blues guy, and he's getting into comedy, and he really wants to do a show. You want to help me put it together? And I kind of put it off for a little while, because I was like, I don't know, guy in blues. And I said, oh, what's the day? Oh, it's May 4th. It's like, blues is really kind of dark and comedy is really light. Oh, it's May the 4th? Oh, we'll do it light side versus dark side. We'll do a Star Wars theme. So there's different comics who are very like kind of upbeat, positive comics. They're not necessarily trying to like disturb you. They're just trying to make you laugh. And there's other guys who like our closer, and like this guy over here, is bringing some darker humor. And I figured, this would be a good venue for that. Star Wars attire is encouraged. So.
And he's wearing a Han Solo vest.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, yeah.
I wasn't going for that, but hey,
That's dope. Yeah. So, like, how long have you been doing comedy Spot?
About 5 years, maybe.
5 years? What about you, Elgin?
I guess there's different like milestones. Like, you know, when I first started, and I thought it was good, and I was like, oh man, it was just horrible. But you felt good, you know. You knew about it. You're getting laughs. There's a lot of that, and then there was like, I could start doing gigs and getting a couple of bucks, and then I could go to another city. So it's been many years, but just different milestones throughout them. And
so you guys have a lot more experience in this, and I have people that listen to this podcast who are in the midst of starting comedy, right? And they're still kind of new, but like, where does that area get to where it's just like you have your material, and it's good material? How do you cross that line into getting gigs? Because I think that's like an important part of the business side of it.
Well, for me, what I did was I just started doing open mics in nearby cities like Sacramento, San Francisco, did a couple contests, and just went out there and did them. Contests are always good because like you get to see comics that think they're good, or maybe I've been booked in other shows, or at least do showcases. And then you just go, hey man, I thought I did a good job. And then, you know, later on, that's how I got on my first showcase with Punchline. Was the guy that booked the showcase for Punchline was in the contest. And the only reason why I thought he had the best set of that night, the only reason why he lost was because he went over time.
Oh, okay.
You know what that's like.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, he went over time, and so he lost a lot of points for that. And but I like messaged him like a couple days later because I made friends with him on Facebook, and I was like, hey man, I thought you should have won. What happened? And he was like, thanks, dude. I went over time, and he's like, would you like to do my showcase in Punchline? I was like, yeah, sure. So then I got a showcase at Punchline. So it's just going out and making new friends.
I see.
And I mean, I don't even drink and I can do it. So you drunks could be like, hey, I'll buy you a beer and make some friends. Like, you know, go, hey, dude. Even if you didn't like the comic, be nice to him and buy him a beer. You never know. You might put you on one of his showcases or something.
That's really good networking, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. What about you, Elgin?
I would just say Tribble would be a good step. If you're like, hey, I got a solid enough gig. Tribble will require you to, you know, make sure you have a nice headshot. Put together a bio. Just say, you know, here's some of the things I've done so far. Here's some cool gigs that you were proud of. Oh, I did this for these folks. And I would say, you want to go the Tribble route, which is a good, when you're getting out of open mic, you've got a good set. Now you're going to do some road work. And I kind of see Tribble as like a rite of passage Like you have to go through that for a while.
Now, for those who don't know what a tribble is, what is that?
It's a small furry creature. They multiply a lot in space. I do that. I got Mr. Spock next to me, so I gotta make that joke. Tribble is a comedy run. I thought it was just West Coast, but I guess they go to a lot of different spots.
Mostly it's Pacific Northwest. Like it's like Dave Tribble is the guy that runs this company that books comics. Right now the website's down, so that's our else. I'd say go to TribbleRun.net if you really want to look it up. But it's ran by this guy named Dave Tribble, and they call it a Tribble Run because usually you do one city a night, and you just go from one to the other, and you just kind of like do like a run. And you start out like you'll start out in Winnemucca, and you'll go to like Klamath Falls, and then you'll go.
What's up, Klamath Falls?
And you'll go to Pendleton, Oregon. You'll go to all these little places. My first time I did Tribble was at Winnemucca, and then I just turned around and went straight home because my cable was way better than what they had at that hotel room.
Yeah.
And usually at every stop with Tribble, you usually get a room, and half the time you get a meal. And to feature, you usually get about $100. To headline, you get like 2 to 3. It depends on.
And how long does that last? Like a week, 2 weeks, or something?
You do one day in each city, so usually it's like a weekend. Like
Oh, like the weekend?
if you do like a bunch of them in a row, sometimes you just do one. Like I just did Winnemucca and went straight home. So and that was on I think that was a Wednesday. So you do Wednesday in Winnemucca, and then sometimes they'll have you go to Klamath, which is like the Thursday, which is the next day, and you just go straight up to the next city, and then.
So Tribble is just like this, sort of like sounds like a Instagram kind of thing, and then you just put like your profile up.
No, not quite Instagram, because he still has to approve you. You still have, you get booked.
Yeah.
It's a job, you know. You got
So you want to have a good video too, so that it just says, hey, here's
some stuff that I did.
stuff, 15, 20 minutes or something.
five. Just like you to go over on time. Yeah, 5-minute video.
I was told he wanted a longer set just so he can see that you can carry a long set.
No, it says 5 minutes on the. It used to say 5 minutes on the website.
Oh,
Interesting.
well, I was given different advice.
So, like, say if you had like a casino and they had a comedy store or whatever, and then like say you were trying to get into that room,
like Laugh Factory,
or say
casino.
like hypothetically, how do you get?
Know somebody that works there is one of your best bets. Be funny.
Show up, tip the waitresses really nicely so that they like you, because it's weird. Your cocktail waitresses can determine if or if not you're playing there.
Yeah,
if they don't like
makes
you,
sense.
they'll tell the manager, "Oh, I don't like that guy," and you're out. So
that
tip
makes
them well.
sense.
Yeah.
Don't ever try to sleep with them.
Yeah, your best bet in comedy, like, is when you're first starting, is just to be nice. Just be nice. Don't be a jerk. Don't be an egomaniacal person. Just be like, hey, I'm Lionel, and I'm here to do some stand-up. And as long as they like you as a person, they're gonna book you 9 times out of 10, just because you're not a pain in the ass.
I remember, like, because it took me about like 3 years before I saw like a single dollar for comedy. But like when they reach in your pocket and they're like, they pull out that stack and then they give you like $20 or $40, whatever it is, and you're just like, you hold that money, and you're like, oh,
I just made money doing comedy.
yeah. That's how you know, like that great feeling.
I got really lucky because like one of my earlier gigs was, of course, just like a lot of us around here, is Pioneer Underground. And at the time, you'd do pre-sale tickets, and you get $5 a ticket sold. And my first time going up, I sold 32 tickets.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's $150. I made $150 my first time as a comic.
Nice. So, like, how does that work, though? They give you, like, a stack of tickets and say you got to give them cash, and then they give you the cash for it, and then you got to, like,
what they'll do is
like a
they'll give
raffle
you-
ticket kind of thing.
No, they give you tickets, you sign for them like they're on lease, and then you sell the tickets, you get the money for it, and you give him the money, like, they're $12, $15 a piece, you give them $15 for each ticket sold.
Now, is that,
Whatever's
like,
left over.
is those tickets, they're sold, because the ones that you get, are they at, like, a discounted price, or that's, like, the full?
Yeah, usually
full
they're
price?
$5 cheaper.
Oh, okay, yeah, because sometimes it'll be like $20 a piece or whatever it's going to be.
Get it at the door.
I see.
Which is nice too when you're selling the ticket as a comic. You're like, oh, I can get it to you cheaper than your door price. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of makes it lame is that you have friends that are going there to see you specifically, and you only get 5 minutes. So that's why it's always smart then to push the headliners. Like, hey, the headliner's there. He's way cooler than me, so watch him.
Yeah, that's like because you only get that short 5 minutes, and I hear it's like a very strict 5 minutes, and then it's like if you go 1 second over, then they'll just like, yeah, you got to get out.
Yeah, they'll get on your case. So, well, now it's 4 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, you shaved a minute off.
Nice. Because like 4 minutes, you can't really say anything. Like 10 minutes, those are pretty good. You can like relax a little bit.
You feel a little relaxed, you feel rushed.
Yeah.
When you got 4 minutes, I find for me, I'm like, okay, I want to get as much as I can that 4 minutes. But then on the flip side, you got to be careful not to speak too quickly.
Yeah.
Because then you'll kill
you start smothering it.
Everything's all crunched together. There's no pauses, and pauses are very important in jokes. Either right before, where you have setup, pause, and then punchline, and then right after, you want to pause for them as the audience to laugh with you, to get where you're at, maybe even applaud, have a moment where you're kind of laughing with them before you're moving on to your next thought.
Yeah.
And it's tempting to remove those pauses because, oh man, I only got 4 minutes, gotta get it all in.
Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like you have to like
comics. Try not to step on your own material.
You have to like let that laugh like sort of breathe, if you will.
Yeah, well, and it's all right though. Like it's good. 5 minutes is good because it teaches you to edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to cut off all the fat and stuff and all that. Yeah.
And that's especially when you first start doing comedy and you're first writing. You really want to know how to edit.
That's the thing Seinfeld still does.
Yeah.
You remove every unnecessary word. Why say will not? Won't. Boom. There's a little less there. What's this here? This is an unnecessary term. Let's get rid of that. Oh, we've repeated this idea twice. Let's trim
You
it
start
down.
stumbling over the words, and then like the more shorter you can make it, sometimes it's like the better it turns out.
Well, you try to get as many laughs per minute as you can get.
Yeah.
And if you have a bunch of pointless words, you're running out of laughs per minute.
Okay, so since like all the new comics, they kind of like listen to this. Stage fright is another thing. How do you guys deal with stage fright?
You want that first, or?
Well, since I used to get such really bad. I still do. Like stage fright's miserable for me. 'Cause I'm shy, and like I just do it anyway. So like you just have to go and do it. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get those nerves. You're gonna feel like you're gonna poop. Your wiener might crawl into your belly button, but you still got to go on stage and make people laugh.
Yeah.
And if you like to do comedy, like it's like your love of comedy or your wiener shrinking for 3 seconds, which bothers you more? Or like, what gets to you more? I like comedy more than you just go out and do it.
Do you remember what your first set was like?
Mine, it was at Great Basin Brewery. We had 5 minutes. I did 3 because I forgot my last 2 minutes. My mind went blank.
Yeah.
Nothing. And so that was my first time going up. And the second time I did okay. I got through the whole 5 minutes. Then I was asked to do a contest. And then the contest didn't go very well for me. And then I didn't do stand-up for like a month. And then I did I think I did Great Basin again. And then I went to Hollywood and did whatchamacallit. I snuck my way on to the Comedy Store. They have a night where they have a school. They have a comedy school, the Comedy Store, and their graduation night. All the comics that went to the class go up, and I show up and I go, yeah, I'm here for this. I called the other day, and she was like, oh, I must have forgot to put you down. I'm sorry. She puts me down, and I go up at the Comedy Store.
Wow.
That's dope.
That was really early in your career, too.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's crazy, man.
What about you, Elgin? Stage fright.
Stage fright. For stage fright, and I've done this before. I've done this with other comics. I've done this in situations where it wasn't with comedians. But physically getting your body our physiology and our emotions are very connected. And if we're scared or we're worried, we're crunched in, we go, oh, I'm all worried, it's going to be bad. And what we focus on, we get. So if we're focusing on it's going to be bad, it's not going to work, that can be a problem. So there's a couple things I've done for physio, just getting into state. Number one, and this sounds really, talk about some nerdy stuff, I love this, is I walk around for a little while pretending, imagining I'm wearing a cape. And when you do that, when you think you got a cape on, you automatically sit up straighter, your shoulders go back, your chest goes up, and you start to walk more confidently. Now you're walking more confidently, emotionally you're feeling more confidently. Then on top of that, and actually I did this with Ethan one time at a show, and it was just, I just remember we did this particular state thing, and then we turned around, we had just an amazing show, both of us, we couldn't believe it. And you just kind of go off in a green room, go behind the building, and stand there. And instead of worrying about all the little lines you got to say, all the words, where's my pause in this punchline, all the tech stuff, set that aside for a moment and imagine yourself on that stage. And if ever you can be on a stage before you play, spend 30 seconds on a stage and just see that view. All right, now imagine that view when you're off away, and imagine the crowd there. Don't worry about the techniques of the joke. Just imagine them enjoying it. Just imagine them laughing. Oh man, sorry, a little burp there. They're laughing, they're having a good time. Nothing like a fart coming out of your face. Classy. Start to get that down, and your physiology and your mind and your physical body, they're going to start to be in congruency. You'll go out there, you'll feel super confident, and you'll already be ready for them to enjoy the joke, as opposed to fearing that it's going to bomb. So those are two things I would greatly suggest. Pretend you're wearing a cape, and then just imagine it going well. You will already feel that momentum, and you'll go into it nicely. You got something?
That and just doing it often.
Yeah, that
the easiest thing to do is just, the more you do it, the easier it is.
One thing I want to add on to yours, when he talked about the fear still there, when you were saying that, totally reminded me of that feel the fear and do it anyway. You're going to feel that fear. It will be there. Acknowledge it, and then do it anyway.
Yeah. For me, it's probably like the 2 minutes, like when the comic gets off, and then the host goes back on, and then you know that you're going to be next. It's that little 30 seconds, whatever that is, right before he says your name, and then like say it's like a paid gig, and then it's just like there's say a room of like 50 people or whatever it's going to be. Then it's just like, okay, when they announce your name, you go out, and you just have to say that punchline, whatever the joke is, and then have confidence in how it will work, and then once that happens, that lift of stress, like when you get that first laugh, and then it goes really well, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that first laugh, that's really important.
Unless you're just eating a turd sandwich for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Awkward silence, because like when it's an open mic and then it's all just comics, you just know that it's just like, okay.
What was that gig we did the other night like that?
Yeah, the open mic Jimmy B's.
Yeah, Jimmy B's. Yeah, that was Sue.
I thought it was kind of funny. Like we were just all up there, just talking to comics and just desperately trying to get something. And then
it's like the greatest.
Toward the end, some guy went up there and he gets the mic. Was it Nick?
Yeah,
oh yeah. He's like, oh man, I really gotta pee. I said, you might as well. We all took a shit up there.
Yeah, because like those kind of, the best way I could describe it, if you're in a room of comics and you have to do an open mic in front of comics, it's very difficult for it to sometimes to get it to work. It's like the best way I could describe it is like being a magician in a room full of other magicians.
Yeah, they already know the trick.
Yeah, they know. So it's like if you had 9 Chris Angels and 1 Doctor Strange, like I'm pretty sure they could figure out what Doctor Strange is doing. It's just like, yeah, man, I see.
I see you trying to get our attention with the left hand while you're pulling the bunny out of your right hand. You got good trick.
Yeah.
It's really tough, especially if it's comics that you know and therefore they know your material. So you might have a joke it's a really good joke, but as comedy to magic, the prestige, the punchline, the reveal, well, they already know that surprise. Well, to me, that's like a third of comedy is the surprise. They didn't see that being the thing.
Yeah.
But if they know it, it's like watching a Shyamalan movie twice. Yeah, okay.
Plus, when you do
Or once. Yeah, okay.
yeah, when you do an open mic at a bar, it's a completely different environment too, because you got the game on in the background. People are having their conversations. People are gambling,
when you
playing
get paying
pool.
gigs at bars, though, you are ready for them, though. Like you own the room. Like I did a show one time, and it was a bar show at a bowling alley, and all the other comics were like, "Oh my god, this is not my thing. I'm used to, you know."
Is that Cloud Falls?
No.
Oh, okay.
Filling the open mic at a nice comedy club here, because they're all bigger city comics. And I was like, all right, this is going to be easy. And I go up and I murder, and then everybody else was like,
Yeah,
the as an open mic, when you're doing open mics, the crappier the situation is, the easier everything else is. Mm-hmm. You know, like I used to do Catch a Rising Star, and the rooms there are tough. You know, like real tough. Like sometimes I did 5 minutes and I didn't get any laughs.
yeah.
And
I feel like walking into that green room, feel like you got punched in the stomach.
it was funny too, because what happened was they had a host that plays the piano and sings,
Oh wow.
and he was sick for like a month. He had like a sore throat, and he wasn't belting out the lyrics and anything. And now he was feeling better. He was excited and he was happy, so he was just belting these songs out and playing the piano and dancing around because he felt great and he was happy. So, and the crowd was all into him. They were having a great time because they got used to hearing music and this guy. And then my deadpan goes up after him, and they're just sitting there like, "Huh, what happened?" You know,
energy level.
Yeah.
and
Energy's different.
even the host came up to me. He's like, "I've never seen you bomb like that," and I was like, I've seen me bomb like that, but not that bad. Like,
Yeah.
That sucks when you bomb in a pain room.
Oh, like do you ever like invite some of your friends that come out to see you and then you just bomb?
I think the last time I played catch, I have, and a bunch of people showed up, and I was like, oh, I gotta get my material, and I was more excited about all these people there than the prep work, and I didn't deliver as good as I should have.
I don't prep at all. You guys are
I
silly with
fucking
your
hate this guy
prepping.
for that. I'm there, got my
Just go do
notes
it.
out.
Yeah.
I do this, I go to
have
this
a
joke.
notebook.
Yeah.
No notebook, nothing.
Put nothing in my phone.
Yeah.
Like if I died, there'd be no recollection of my jokes.
I started getting like that too, to where it's like I'll write down like maybe like the premise on what I think is gonna work, you know, and then you kind of have the punchline in your head, but kind of just stop like writing notes to myself because like I don't know, it feels like got to take the training wheels away, and I just got to figure it out.
Yeah, well,
like 20 minutes.
on stage, I think you shouldn't have notes at all on stage.
Yeah, you should
because
have
most clubs don't allow it anyways.
Unless it's an open mic, unless you're working material out, like you don't want to have
and
notes.
then if you do use notes on an open mic, those better be new jokes.
Yeah.
Like nothing that I haven't heard before for 100 times. You should know that shit by now.
Yeah.
And you know, you've had that. Yeah, there was some comic the other day I was like, okay, I've seen this comic twice and I've heard the same routine, and you got a notebook in your hand, like you need to know this.
Yeah.
You know, if it's new, it's fine, but like after a while, you should know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And it teaches you to like do that, because if you have the notebook and you're looking at the notebook all the time, you aren't gonna create anything new. There's no chance for you to pop something, come out like something new with your joke, a tag or another joke even or whatever. You know, like last night by accident when you were like, "Oh, you're in LA traffic," and I was like, "Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not gonna kill you. It doesn't move."
And then it works.
Yeah, you know, now it's like, hey, it's a new joke.
It was a good improv line.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're looking at notes. You're looking at notes on stage. I'm looking at notes pre-stage. Like, I like to know pre-stage because then you have a game plan, and it's just a structure. You can still improv around that, but you know, okay, I'm gonna have these ideas and this idea. I want to open, and this is a good thing for new comics. You want to open really strong, and you want to close even stronger. So you're just kind of building the roadmap before you get there. So I heard a thing one time said like a dream with was it like an idea without a plan is just a dream. Action without a plan is a nightmare. And if we're gonna have that action and go up there, I like to at least have a plan. I have an idea of what I'm gonna do.
So, go ahead.
You're good. Huh?
What about getting stuck when you have nothing to write about?
Oh, I hate when that happens.
You're looking for new material. Usually
work.
talking with friends, you know, just shooting the shit. Is usually one of the easier ways to do it. You know, nothing wrong with writing jokes while you're taking a poop. You might have to put Facebook down for that, but you know, sometimes it just depends. like a lot of my material usually comes up by accident, or like I'll kind of find something that I'll find a challenge in myself to make a joke out of, because I like things that are harder to joke about. I don't like the low hanging fruit jokes. I remember one time I was talking to Elgin, and Elgin was like, "Sucks that you have diabetes," and I was like, "If I didn't have diabetes, I'd be fat, and I'd just tell fat jokes and wouldn't have to be so clever." You know, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that's how you do your comedy. But personally, me, I like a tougher joke to write than that, or
Jim does that, doesn't he? Where he gives us like a on Waterfall, he'll give a theme.
Yeah, he gives you a theme, and you got to write about the theme. That's a good opportunity. I've come up with about 4 new jokes doing the theme that I just use.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know.
Yeah. And Flemmy, he has like just stacks of just material. I have no idea how he does
Such
it.
a great story writer.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best long walk, because he tells long stories. Like, they're long walks.
Yeah.
And he's got you, and you're like, oh.
He's got great rhythm.
Like
He gives just a little bit of detail at a time.
I had him on this podcast, because me and him, we used to work together, and then every time when I'd see him, he wouldn't have his notes, but he would just have words just written all over his arms and his.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He would just have permanent marker, and because he's there for like 10 hours a day, but he would just have things just written all over his arms, because he couldn't, he didn't have paper on him or whatever, but he would just have just stacks, and every time you see him, it's always something different. Yeah, these are just stacks of just notes in case I forget. But what about you, Elgin? Writing?
He doesn't write.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes weird things will happen. As you said, you're just hanging out with somebody, or a situation occurs. You go, oh, there's a funniness in there. I try to be careful if maybe something will happen amongst friends, and you'll hear this. Oh, man, you should put that in your skits.
Oh, yeah, you get that a lot.
Which bugs me. I'm like, we don't do skits. But I know what you're saying. We're not. Yeah. Sometimes it is something that you can. Oh man, that's really funny. Let me put this new idea into a bit. And other times I go, it's funny just for now. Like it happened organically with all of us, and there's so many details to try to tell that to an audience and bring them in. I'm not as good as Jim at long walks, so I don't want to give them too much info. Yeah, and then as we said too, like just having a challenge. Sometimes you do an open mic, and sometime in your skit, sometime you have to talk about this idea. That's helps a lot. I haven't written a whole lot lately. I've just written like little one lines or little side thoughts. But it depends. It ebbs and flows.
And sometimes you go like every day writing a new joke, and then sometimes you go months without anything new, and you're like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, you hit that glass wall, and you start like, oh no.
I gotta have something new funny by now.
Yeah.
Like in those times like that, that's you're just working on taking your existing material and making it better. So it just depends on the season you're in.
Yeah. So sometimes what I'll do is like I'll ask myself like a question on like, what am I afraid of? Like, who do I wish I was? Who do I wish I could be? Things like that, or I'll just ask myself a question, and then you kind of just go from there. Or like, what is it that I'm really afraid of, and then bring like the scenario on why, like being stuck in traffic or whatever. I mean, you kind of ask yourself these kind of things, and then eventually something will branch out, and then you kind of just go from there, and you can just put your own spin on it.
I like how you started with questions. Questions are a really good way to get our own brain working.
Yeah.
And when we do a question to an audience, they have brains too. In the brain, you give it a question, it's going to try to come up with an answer. And if your joke is a question, their answer might just be a giggle. So,
or it's a good opportunity to get heckled.
Yeah. But anyway, Studio on 4th, right?
Studio on 4th, 8 o'clock, Thursday, May 4th. So it's May the 4th be with you at Studio on 4th. So lighthearted comics, some dark comics. The owner, who's a bartender there, told me that he has come up with a Star Wars blue drink, a blue milk drink.
Oh, it's gonna like glow and stuff like that.
It's gonna look like the blue milk from at least now 2 Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So
that's dope.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
See, Cinco de Mayo, gonna be at Potentialist Workshop.
Ooh.
It goes to charity, the ACLU fundraiser thing. that they're going to do. I hear they're going to have margaritas and tacos for Cinco de Mayo over there.
Cinco de Mayo. When is that, dude?
Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, like what time is what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be at 8:30.
8:30?
8:30.
That sounds cool. That's a great, I like their, as a room, I like that room.
Yeah. So it's going to be me, Fleming, James Fleming, Mark Yaffe, Nick Taro, I believe Joe, let's see. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people there.
A lot of good comics. Even the
yeah.
ones you mentioned so far, talented comics.
Yeah. So.
Jim's getting a lot of advertising on this.
Ooh. Yeah, you're welcome,
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Anyway, so yeah, you can find us on, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'd like to thank Elgin Alway.
Thank you.
Also like to thank Spock, the doc Spock.
You're welcome.
And you can find us on iTunes, and then when we post this up, we're going to put this on YouTube, iTunes. Go ahead, like, subscribe, Facebook, all that jazz.
That always helps.
And my name's...
Jazz.
Where can they find you guys if they want to follow you?
I would just, we live in the future. Just find us on, or me anyway, on Facebook. You can either go to my regular, everyday page where I just put up my own bullshit, which is Elgin Alway on Facebook, or you can go to the comedian Elgin Alway page, which is just where if you just wanted to follow my comedy, you can go there. If you want to follow my comedy and my daily bullshit, you can go to the other one.
Doc?
You can find me on Twitter at the infamous Paul, and you can find me on Facebook at Paul Spock.
And that's it, you guys. Anyway, have a good night.
Hey,
Bye.
like us,
Bye.
say hi, drop us a message.
Send nudes.
Send-